Well, hello, Lifeflow coaches. We just finished up our most recent Lifeflow session. It's January 23rd, and it's session number 2. And we did Infusion during this session, and I think it went pretty well.
Yeah, it did. It was, Infusion. We told them this is one of the hard things that they have to do. Prepare how to take these concepts and internalize them, be able to package them in a way that they can present to their leaders and then to their congregation. And so, what's been really encouraging over having several generations now of this, we have numerous examples of how we went about teaching it. So we didn't really go through the material as much as really talk about how to teach infusion and what are some creative ways you can do that. And so I think that was really, really helpful.
Yeah, it was. We had Paul Voltmer came in just as an example from last generation, and he kind of showed a little of what he did in terms of teaching the first session, and then also provided some of his templates for some of the subsequent teachings as well, which was really encouraging the guys to get a little picture of what this actually looks like in a local church. So I do think they were leaving encouraged, though still a little daunted by the process.
And we told them you're one of the resources because you've taken people through it, and just to kind of help them think through that. And but yeah, it is a pretty daunting task, but this is giving them plenty of time to process that too.
Yeah, we told them our goal would be that they begin teaching this in their local setting next fall. So it's January now. That leaves them a lot of time to begin working on their outline, how they're going to teach it. And so they have some time there. The only new concepts they interacted with at this time was the gospel of the kingdom and the personal life sphere. So identity, capacity, and destiny. And those were good and provided some great conversation. So it was great to see them engaging so well. I'd love to first of all encourage you guys. We think that the Vista process is going great. I can see the growth with every generation of Lifeflow here. So all of the guys have completed their Vista workbook, their self-assessment workbook. All of them have completed that. Most of the guys also have done the phase 1 dialogue with a coach. I think 2 of the guys still have the phase 1 dialogue to complete. But all of the guys have also had interaction and regular contact with their coach. So I'm so glad to see those pieces in place. So from here, the assignment for between now and April I think 9th is our next gathering. One of their assignments is that they need to do phase 2 dialogue with their coach. I know. So if you're one of the guys who's passed or hasn't completed the phase 1 yet, make sure you get phase 1 done. And so we're at least making progress every time toward this end. You want to kind of talk a little more about the executive summary comes after phase 2?
Yeah. So when you get through phase 1 and phase 2 dialogue, and really this is your biggest heavy lifting piece of coaching, because this is going to require, the interviews are fairly intensive after you kind of look at their Vista report. But then I think really your critical piece in this process for them is that executive summary. And I've done that numerous times, and I do it with our staff now, and I think that's a very, you ought to carve some time out for that, be reflective in it, be thinking about it, and there's a template for you that kind of guides you through that. I find a couple spots of it maybe are relevant, maybe aren't. You kind of have to make that decision, but use the template in general, and use it as a way to kind of format a conversation. And as you write the executive summary and as you're making evaluations of areas where they need to work on, make sure you include resources of suggestions of things that are available to them to help them work on that. And then they're going to write their personal development plan based on what you shared with them. And I know it's getting a little head too, but I think whenever I do the executive summary, I admit up front that, look, this is what I'm hearing, and I know I have a limited context in understanding your strengths and your weaknesses, but feel free to challenge anything if I'm not hearing it right. That's fine, and I'm definitely open to that. But as best as you can discern from what you've heard and what you've seen, you're suggesting to them, here's what I see. And so this could be very helpful to them, both personally and with regards to their calling.
Yep. Yep. So again, we have a couple months here, February and March. So make sure during those times to be in regular contact and make sure that phase 1 or phase 2, ideally, dialogue happens before that. I see Scott
He's
smiling.
coming.
So
You're coming. You're coming with it, aren't you?
No.
You are coming with it. He's going to ask me about the Patriots. That's what he's going to do. So I'm actually watching last year's Super Bowl this year.
So who do you think will win?
Well, I'm for New England because Boston is just starving for a champion. They haven't had one for like 3 months.
The drought is over.
The drought is over. Yeah, the drought is over. Go Rams.
Thanks, guys.
All right, take
really
care,
appreciate
guys.
you.